Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to What Do You Say? My name's Andrew Termody. With me, as always, my brother and your host, Frank T. If you like what we're doing out there, please go out and like, subscribe, and leave us a review. And remember to turn on those notifications so you can be updated every time we upload some new content.
We got a good one today.
We do. I'm
We
excited.
got a good one today, but these are getting announced on Tuesday, right?
Yes.
So we got the guy behind the guy.
The guy behind the guy. Yeah.
Right.
We've had the behind the guy on. And this is the guy.
So we had Coach Simone on. Now we got Anthony Simone Sr.
Yeah.
And we are going to talk about the Simone Award today, which is near and dear to our hearts. I think I could speak for you as well when I say love, friendship, courage, champion
Absolutely.
is something that's been embedded into our DNA,
Absolutely.
right? Because let's see, you started in third grade.
I did. Well, I wasn't officially there, but they were kind enough to give me some pads and let me tinker around when I was in third grade.
And then I started playing at Necco in fourth.
Yeah.
But back then, there was only fifth and sixth and seventh and eighth.
Right.
Yeah.
Now the organization is, let's see, it starts, Frankie George started in pre-K.
Yeah.
That whole class started, they were.
And we've both coached in that program at some point.
Oh, gosh, Andrew, I coached.
You did probably.
Altogether 15 years probably.
Yeah.
I coached I coached Benny Palmer, he went to Kearney, played football I think at Jewel, and now is the head coach at Winnetonka.
No, I think isn't he at Park Hills?
He was but left.
Oh, he went
I'm
back
almost
to Winnetonka?
Matter of fact, Bear tried to get Benny Palmer to take the Pius job.
I know.
Yeah. Dalvin Warmack, who's a two-time Simone Award winner. I think the only guy to win it 2 years in a row.
He is.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah, Dalvin. Yeah, ended up going to K-State. I think played under Snyder at K-State and then coached at Pius.
Undeniable talent when you win the Simone Award 2 years in a row.
Won state 2 years in a row too.
Yeah.
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 Undeniable.
Blue Springs.
Blue
High
Springs.
School.
Yeah. I think under Donahoe.
Yes.
Yeah. So then we're going down a rabbit hole.
No. Yeah. We were talking about the years that you were spent at the Necco Raiders.
Yeah. So
the
Necco Raiders
program, the culture, and
but it's brought out some big. Here, let's face it. The Necco Raiders. Probably 80% of those kids end up being instrumental on the high school team that they play for.
100%.
Instrumental.
I would say that's a.
You could look at this all
accurate.
Simone, and I guarantee you'll find at least one Necco Raider on there. Let me look at this thing.
More than that, I think.
So here, let's. I just seen it. So. You got Carl Moley. There's your Necco Raider. There's one of them, right? And then it was Tommy Hutzler a Necco Raider?
Yes.
Larry Cascone's a Necco Raider.
Larry
You got 3
Cascone.
Necco Raiders on there. So it was Hudson. I don't think Hudson played for Necco. I don't remember. But so you got 3 Necco Raiders for sure, potentially 4 on an all Simone team.
And more this year.
Yeah.
So funny story, and little Larry might not like that I tell it, but I'm going to tell it anyways. He was in third grade, and it was I can't remember, it was probably one of the first games of the season, and he's crying to Johnny George, saying, I don't want to play, and now through that program, he is up for.
Hold on. And might be one of the most physical running backs.
Tough.
Single-handedly last year against Maryville in that playoff game, demoralized that team. Knocked out, literally knocked. Every time someone tried to tackle him, they came off the field hurt.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
And that just shows you what a program can do to a player that might not be all that comfortable at third grade playing this sport.
Yeah, there's not many that are though.
Well, I know, I get that, but the development of how of talent through that program into the high school level,
it's unprecedented.
Unprecedented.
It's unprecedented. I agree. So let's get into this. I want to talk initially about Tom Tom. So, how old was Tom Tom?
When he passed,
Yes.
he was 12. Just turned 12.
And
12 days past his 12th birthday.
And it was April 16th.
April 16th, 1983.
And so walk us through it.
That day?
Yes.
Well, I'll do a little bit before that. The day before. He had his two best friends stay the night with us because we were going to have baseball practice the next day. And we went to they had one of those carnivals right there in Gladstone where the miniature, where they had rides and games and stuff. So brought the boys to the games.
Who were the two other kids?
Jeff Niemeyer and Joe DiGirolamo.
Okay, all right.
Joe D.
Joe D. Yeah.
And so they all played. They played on the Raider. They're on the same Raider team. So we were at the carnival and then came back home. They slept on the TV room floor the whole bit. All night.
Yes, I know.
Anyway,
yeah.
So we got up Saturday morning. And I made pancakes for him, and then we went to baseball practice, and it was from 9 to 12. 12 o'clock, came back, brought the other boys home, and then we spent the day. We cleaned around the house and stuff, and then it was about 5:30 that evening. He said, "Dad, I want to take me outside. I want to pitch." He was a pitcher. You got to have everybody pitch, but
Right.
So anyway, we went out and he pitched to me until it started getting dark. And I said, "I can't see the ball anymore, Tom." And then I said, "Tom, I'm going to go down to the office and see if I have any service calls." Back then, all you had was a recorder on the phone.
Right.
So, and he said, "I'll go with you." So we went down to Necco on Independence Avenue.
Right.
And I was inside, and we were both inside. And then he said, "Dad, I want to go get some bubble gum across the street." They had a
was it
Safeway
Spolito's?
store.
Oh, it was a Safeway.
Safeway
Spolito's
store,
was
right.
on the other side
Right.
of Independence
They had
Avenue.
a Safeway store right across the street. So I said, "Okay, go ahead." And then I heard the crash, and right in front of the door there, right in front, and it was instant. He was dead instantly.
And this was a cop responding to a call.
No call.
No call. He was just speeding.
He was speeding on the wrong side of the street. No lights on, and it was dark then. It got dark, and not going to a call. So that was it.
Wow.
It was very difficult.
Oh my gosh. What you guys have been able to generate from that tragedy, it's unbelievable. As far as, the whole entire Necco Raiders culture is based on Tommy.
Right.
You have the Simone Award, you have the Simone tournament, you have the golf tournament. There's so many different things that have transpired from that. And I'm looking at the first award winner, Jeff Kelso. And that's 1983.
It was just 6.5 months after Tommy died when we had our first award.
How did you... So look, so Angel was probably born already?
Yeah, she was 10.
Angel, okay.
And
So
Rose was 6 months old.
And so Bear and Charlie
weren't born.
They weren't born yet. Okay, so Angel was, oh my God, I've never thought about how traumatic that had to be for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never, oh my gosh. Because I think Gianna was 10.
Yeah.
The twins were 7, getting ready to turn 8 when Nina passed.
Yeah.
So that, I know what I go through, so I could only imagine it has to be,
Yeah, it was a hard time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and
It is for any parent or any family that you lose a young child.
Yeah. No,
or any kind. I mean, it's a difficult situation.
it's the most unfair thing to have to walk through.
Right.
It's the most, and as you know, when you're any husband, when something happens to your wife and kids and you can't protect them from it or make it better, that's very humbling.
Mm.
You know, that's very humbling. And I know you can wrap your head around that as well. You know, that's a tough thing to wrap your head around and be able to deal with that.
Yeah.
How did you put yourself together in order to start this, right? And not be so consumed in your wife's grief, your daughter's grief. You have a 6-month-old. How are you able to do that?
It was with a lot of group effort. Basically without our family and friends that were around us that basically took care of us because we were in shock,
non-functioning.
And the shock is not just until this you bury him. You know, the shock. It's a long lasting.
Hold on, if you're anything.
And we had just tons of friends and family that pitched in to help us, and that's what happened. We were just surrounded by.
We are fortunate.
People that cared about us.
We are fortunate. I've said this a number of times, to be surrounded by the community we're surrounded by to help us in these types of situations. You know, because, and as you know, grief that comes in waves. You know, it's not like you ever stop grieving the loss of a child.
No, you never do.
You know, because I mean, here, Andrew Ross has been gone. It'll be 25 years. April the 15th. He passed April 15th.
Yep.
It'll be 25 years, April the 15th, and it could floor me some days still.
Yeah.
To where you have to peel your ass out of bed.
Yeah.
You know, and I think I might have said this on the podcast before, but there's days where I'll act like I'm sick.
Well, certain things hit you.
Yeah.
You know, if something might happen, you'll recall something on that particular day. You hear a song on the radio that was their song that they liked, and just something that brings back the memory of.
Yeah.
So that's what makes it difficult.
Sure.
It brings it back. It brings back the hurt.
So what made you? So why what made you think to do this? What was? I know clearly we know. You know, Tom, and the tragedy was really the birth of this. But what put this in your head and your heart to start this?
Well, you know, I think initially you want to keep their spirit alive, if so to speak, or if
it's a legacy.
You know, and you just want to cut loose.
Right.
But you know, we knew that the award started. The Negro Award in 1933. This award is really started in 1933, the Negro Award.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what was that?
It started in 1933, and Dr. Negro, he was a family physician in our area, and he started this award. And back then, it was only a few schools. There wasn't a lot of all the Kansas schools weren't here. And it was just, Central, Northeast, De La Salle, Rockhurst,
Pius. Pius wasn't even there yet.
Pius wasn't there.
Yeah.
It was just a handful of schools. And he started this award. And he died in 1975. And the family disbanded the award and just didn't give it again after that. So, we went to, first thing we did, we went to Rockhurst, talked to, what's the coach's name? He was a big, famous coach for Rockhurst for years
Sev.
Huh?
No, it'd been before Severino.
Oh, well, much before Severino.
Yeah.
But he helped us get what of the history of this. We went to the Nigro family and told them we want to reinstitute the award. We want to call it the Simone Award, named after Tommy, but we're going to carry all of the past winners. And on our trophy, all of the past winners from 1933, they're listed on a trophy.
Oh, there. So
Wow.
that's I didn't really that's special.
Yeah.
So
That
you
is
know, and all the winners are listed in the book too.
So you change the name, but you maintain all the Nigro winners.
Yes.
All the accolades.
That's pretty
Man,
awesome.
That's awesome. I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't either.
And when we at the ceremony, time has gone on now, especially it's been 41 years for Tommy. But we used to have, like at our ceremony every year, we invite the guys that can come that won the Nigro Award, we invite them. They come.
They come. Do a lot of them
Yeah,
come? That's
yeah.
awesome. That's awesome.
Louis Nigro. I talked to Carl Tudorino last night. He's coming. Phil Snowden. He won it in 1952. He's coming.
I've heard story after story about Junior Nigro that he was an animal of a football player.
Right. He was.
Did he win it?
Yeah, he won it.
Did
Junior won it.
Did he win it?
He comes to the award.
Does he? Yeah. I mean, you could see he's a bull. I mean,
Yeah.
even now you could see how he's got huge calves,
Yeah.
tree trunk legs,
Yeah.
so you could certainly see.
I mean, in 1933, were they playing with leather helmets?
Oh, I guarantee it.
They didn't even have.
I guarantee it. Give me one. You guys keep talking. I gotta do something real quick.
Yeah.
So, but that's how we started it, and and it's carried on from there. It just grew. Initially, it was just the one award for like 10 years or so, and then we went to Buck Buchanan. He was on our board of the football award, and then he passed away. So the Simone Award was just basically an offensive award.
Okay.
Offensive player, and basically it was a quarterback or running back that won the award. So we wanted to do something for linemen. You were a lineman, I was a lineman.
Yeah.
So you want to do something for the linemen.
Yeah.
So we started the Buck Buchanan Award.
Okay.
And that was, then it went to 2 awards. And we were like that for quite a while. And then we went to, when Frank Fontana got killed,
Mm-hmm.
then we did the big class, small class for awards. So we did the Fontana Award, the Bobby Bell Award, and the Otis Taylor Award.
Okay.
So we kind of try to get everybody we can to get it recognized.
Are all these awards that you're speaking to now, because you're educating me, and I don't know all this.
All right.
Are all these awards still in play?
They're all play, and we give them all on Tuesday. Coming Tuesday.
Okay.
We give them every year. They have their own separate trophy, and also, like all the past winners
Mm-hmm.
of those awards, they're also named. It stays on the trophy.
Really?
We place each past winner, put it back on the trophy.
So you mentioned 3 additional. Is it 3 or 4 additional awards that are like
4 more than the Simone,
4 more than the Simone? So 5 awards total.
and then the Coaches of the Year award.
Yeah.
We
So
do
you
that
got
too.
Buck Buchanan,
Fontana,
Buck Buchanan. What else?
Bobby Bell,
Otis.
Otis Taylor.
Yep. Yeah.
That's awesome. I had no idea. I thought the Simone Award was just the Simone Award. I didn't realize that you guys organized all those awards on top of it.
Then you need to come Tuesday.
I do. I've never been to an award ceremony.
Yeah.
I haven't either. I remember Dad always going to them,
Yeah.
but I never went.
You need to come.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Frankie George.
You'll be impressed.
Yeah, I'm going to bring Frankie George.
And we can't say words yet. We don't know yet
Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
because it's a surprise announcement.
Yeah.
Okay.
They tell you the day of.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you indicate where it's at, you indicate who won.
Ah, okay.
You with me?
Yes,
So,
I am. And I don't. I got no insider information, so You ain't got to worry about nothing for me.
Yeah, but I am taking Frankie George.
I'm gonna go too.
It's a neat deal. It really is a neat deal. Let's talk
And it's televised too. 41 is televised. It's televised live.
I tried to get.
Then it's replayed throughout the month. It'll be replayed.
Yeah, I tried to get Justin Reed to come and announce the winner, but they have practice at 9 a.m.
Oh man.
Yeah, so that'd have been pretty cool.
That would have been
Yeah, that would have been neat. But I spoke with him, and he's not able to do it because he's got practice. Man, I'm looking at these Bobby Bell Awards, and there's a lot of Pius kids. Bear and Charlie won it.
Yeah, back to back.
Yeah.
And this, just for anybody who's listening who doesn't know, the award's not biased because those two guys could play.
Charlie needs to be in the Hall of Fame at Pius.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
there
right.
was ever
Yes, he
a
does.
defensive tackle as good as Charlie.
Yes.
Ever. In Pius history.
I would agree.
I don't think there's ever been a defensive tackle that is not on. Matter of fact, I think Bear, and I'm not taking anything away from Bear. I'm not. But I'm going to tell you right now, Charlie is a big reason why Bear
It got so many tackles.
got so many
Absolutely.
tackles.
Absolutely.
You
Because
know,
they had to double team him.
hold
They
on.
had to double team him.
And how many times did Charlie get double teamed and still
And
make
still
the
get the-
play?
yeah.
Still make the tackle. And how fast was he for as big as he was?
He was guy's an animal.
Charlie needs to be in the Hall
Yes,
of Fame.
he does.
He 100% needs to be in the Hall of Fame. And I'll go ahead and say, here, I'll tell you
You
another
got
guy.
two people who are nominating him right now.
I'm nominating.
I'm
him.
nominating
But you got to
him.
actually send the email in. I got to
Right.
get this deal because if you don't send the email in, because I talked to Vince Armilio, if you send the email in and they get nominated like more than one time, they'll automatically, it'll be up for discussion, but nobody can argue. You can't name one defensive lineman better
No.
than Charlie Simone. Impossible, can't happen. And you can't name a cornerback better than Link.
No.
No, it's true.
You can't name a cornerback better than him. And that doesn't even include how good he was at basketball.
Great basketball player. Yeah. No, I agree.
So Link needs to be in. Charlie needs to be in. And I can name, I don't know how many other people.
Let's get
that need
the
to be
email
in.
over to DM.
There's
us
a
the
deal
email.
that they send out
There's a deal
that you can nominate people.
Okay.
Well, I nominated Charlie, but I didn't hear anything. So.
No, Charlie, Charlie,
And let's not forget, Charlie was a great baseball player.
he won a state championship in baseball too.
Right.
Yeah, so he won 2 state championships in football, his sophomore and his senior year.
Yeah.
His junior year, they lost to Grain Valley in the quarterfinal game.
And he wrestled too.
And he wrestled.
Did he wrestle too?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, Charlie had the most deceiving speed. Now, I will say this sophomore kid that's the nose guard at Pius, Jamel.
He's an animal.
Oh, yeah.
Jamel's an animal.
Yeah, Jamel's an animal. And he's going to have some physical attributes that Charlie don't have. The kid's got a size 15 shoe.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a monster. But I want to get in to this year's nominees. So I'm gonna read this, and I know I have some video on some of these kids, but some of them I got on their Instagram page and they didn't have no videos. But the first one we'll talk about, I'm gonna go in the order Charlie gave them to me, because then I did some due diligence on my own on these kids. So
Should we go through the criteria of how the athletes are selected for the Simone
we
Award?
do need to do that because that's based on coaches. Talk about
okay.
that, Anthony. I've got to answer
The
this.
selection process is
Yes.
the area coaches. Well, here's how it works. We send out, or Charlie sends out, to the area coaches. They can nominate anyone that they want. And then we get the nominations in, and we break it into a top 10 of all the coaches. Now there's 90 coaches that get balloted.
Okay.
And then we break it into a top 10. Then they're stats are made, put together, sent back out to the coaches for another ballot, just only on
What the
on the top 10.
on the top 10 that you've
And that's
selected.
how the Final Four is developed.
So, but
Okay.
here's my question: does the Simone family? Do you guys put yourself in a position at all?
We don't. We voted one time. That was in 1990. If there's a tie, we vote. That's the only time. In 1990 there was a tie for the Buck Buchanan Award, and it happened to be a Missouri kid and a Kansas kid. What we did was we gave 2 awards.
Okay.
I mean, so, and then actually it stayed that way. We gave a Missouri and Kansas Buck Buchanan Award for like 10 years. And then we went to just the one when we went to big class, small class.
Right.
Then we went to just one Buck Buchanan Award.
You know
But
what's
that's the
going
only time we could ever vote is if there's a tie
If there's a tie.
in the voting.
And you guys probably have your individual rankings of how you would separate a tie. It's probably not on spot, I wouldn't imagine. That you guys, we know who our tiebreaker would be if there's a tie between,
right.
I mean, I would imagine that you guys have to have some sort of ranking system for yourselves because, heck, what are the chances of a tie? I mean,
Well, and
it's only happened once. And
this is the 41st year.
yeah.
Yeah.
So 1 out of 41. Yeah. So the coaches are going to select everyone, basically. The coaches throughout the city.
Coaches
basically.
throughout the city.
Coaches and
I
selected, sportscasters and
Yeah. And I think Pius, we have a shot next year to get.
A Simone Award winner.
I think we got someone that could get put up for it for sure. I do. I think Hudson.
and they're
5A
they're
now.
Class 5 now, so they
So we would qualify
qualify for it.
Yeah, we would qualify. So that's exciting too. So all right, now I want to.
Does the award typically go to a big class,
Always does. Small
Yeah.
class kid can't get it.
small class kid?
Yeah, no, it's a big class award.
Big class award.
It's a
only.
big class
Now,
award.
when we categorize big class, are we talking 4 to
5 to 6.
5 to 6?
I don't think a 4A's ever won it.
No.
No.
Are they even considered? Are they even
I don't
considered?
think so. It's only 5 and 6A.
Only 5 and 6A.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's got to be big class.
Okay.
So some of these kids, I was able to get on their Instagram and find videos,
Mm-hmm.
and some of them they just had pictures and stuff. But so the first kid, his name's Tate Nagy. Hopefully I didn't butcher any of these kids' names. But this kid is a junior. No, wait. Had an impressive junior season. He's a senior right now. 181 passes for over 2,500 yards, 69% completion rate, recorded 25 passing touchdowns, and a dual threat ability for over 500 rushing yards, 7 touchdowns on the ground. Led Blue Valley West to the state semifinals. His performance secured his commitment to play at Kansas next year.
Yeah.
So that's Tate Nagy.
Nagy.
All right.
Now you know who that is?
Is that the doctor's son?
It's coach of the Chiefs, Nagy.
Oh, okay.
His son.
Okay. All right. I didn't know if it was the doctor's son. There was a physician that's an OBGYN, so I didn't know. All right. So then we got Jackson Hicks. This kid's from Liberty. Led his team to the state semifinals. Finished the year as the leading rusher in Missouri, 2,700 yards, 13 touchdowns, cementing his place as one of the top players in the state.
Yeah.
So, and this kid don't look like much when you look at him.
He's not big.
No, he's not a big kid. He's got red hair,
Yeah.
and he just doesn't look like a kid. But then there is some pictures of him. There's no videos, but there's some pictures of him running the ball, and you could see he's electric.
Yeah.
Yeah. But just looking at him, you're like, come on, But then you see him, he gets a ball in his hand. It's like, dude.
Don't even look like the same person.
No. I mean, he's a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a monster. Okay, I I'm partial to this kid that I'm getting ready to talk about.
Okay.
And I'll give you a couple reasons why. His name's Isaiah Mosey. Okay. Now, before I give you his stats, there was a couple things that really, really impressed me about this kid. He's a big time Christian. And anytime you click on one of his videos, you'll hear worship music in the background. But so that's one thing that I liked about him. But he also, and I sent this, I think I sent it to myself. I took a screenshot of it, sent it to myself. Because he had here you go. And it is this is on his Instagram page. It's from second book of Samuel, chapter 22. God is my strength and power, and he makes my way perfect. So I was really impressed with this kid's faith and the fact that at a 18-year-old kid isn't afraid to express that or ashamed to express that. That says a lot.
That says a lot about a kid's character.
It says a lot about a kid's character, right?
Right.
And so now let's talk about what he did. And I actually have video of him.
And he was hurt a couple games this season too. He missed a couple games.
Did he? So this is an All-American from Lee Summit North, recognized as one of the nation's top receivers, a 4-year varsity starter, concluded his high school career with over 3,000 yards receiving, 42 touchdowns, 600 rushing yards, and 11 rushing touchdowns to his impressive resume. He signed to play at Nebraska next year. Okay, so that kid's he's a stud. He's got some cool videos. He's electric.
Yeah,
he's electric. So you got this kid's. Everybody's from Missouri except this kid. This kid's Banks Bowens from Kansas, and he's a quarterback, a senior. Showcased exceptional talent through his career. 4,000 passing yards, 36 touchdowns, and rushed for 2,000 yards and 27 touchdowns in his senior season alone. Banks recorded over 2,300 passing yards, 23 touchdowns, along with 800 rushing yards, 9 touchdowns. He's committed to Tulsa next year. There's one more, and I saved him for last because I feel like I watched so much film on this kid. Hours and hours of film because we played against him in the district championship.
Yeah.
Plays for Platte County, Rocco Marriott.
yeah.
What a fucking athlete. I mean, just
He's just a junior.
he's I know. Good Lord willing, we'll have to battle him next year. But this kid, you can never give up on a play with this kid. I don't care how much you push him out of the pocket, how much you think your defensive line or blitzing linebacker has him. This kid finds somebody open. And as good as a runner as he is, I don't think he looks to run a whole lot.
They probably know that he can run.
Well, and if you watch these videos that we post of him, it's a prime example. You flush this kid and he finds an open receiver. Now, he's got some good weapons. Number 14 is a great weapon. Yeah. Number 6 was a great weapon. His 2 running backs, number 5, number 7, physical, fast running backs. But this kid, he's legit. 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Yeah.
So
94-mile-an-hour fastball, plays basketball, ran through the bracket, I think, in a wrestling state championship.
Plays basketball and wrestles?
So here's what happened. Billy Roberts coaches for the Necco Raiders. Billy Roberts' son, Billy, is an absolute animal of a wrestler.
Okay.
And we were talking about leading up to this game, they're asking me about preparation, this, that, the other, and I'm just... my thoughts are, hey, we got to be able to stop Rocco Marriott. If you can't stop Rocco Marriott, he's going to kick your ass. And he said he got done playing basketball and he had to qualify for state. And not only did he qualify for it, but he ran through the bracket. And I'm like, so he's just, and I personally think, and there's guys way smarter on our coaching staff, but when I'm watching this kid, I think he's an athlete playing quarterback. I think this is a type of kid that if he was to go play in college, there's no telling what they would do with him. You know, they don't have to put him at quarterback. I think they could put him anywhere.
When it comes down to quarterback or pure athletes playing quarterback, it's decision making.
Yeah.
And from how it sounds, if he's working to find somebody open all the time, he's constantly, his decision making. He's one of those guys who's processing. He's reading the defense.
I feel like he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like he is. I think there were some plays where he wasn't. I think there's plays designed to go to certain receivers, and he knows pre-snap where he's throwing the ball.
Right, sure.
And you could pick those out pretty easily. But I think this kid reads the field pretty well, and he could. I think he could throw the ball like 70 yards.
Well, if he throws the ball 94 miles an hour, he throws a fastball 94 miles an hour, I'm assuming he's got his arm strength is there.
Yeah. Yeah. So you
Or
got
his mechanics.
a junior quarterback, Platte County. He's getting ready to play in a state championship on Saturday. Through 11 games, 2,400 yards passing, 34 touchdowns. So this kid,
Stats alone, who's got the most impressive stats?
Well, if you're just going by yards, Drew, you got to look at
yards, touchdowns. I'm going to say
you got to look at Banks Bones, 4,000. I mean, Tate Nagy's 2,500, Rocco Marriott's 2,400, Jackson Hicks is rushing 2,700. So Rocco's a quarterback, Tate is a wide receiver, Isaiah's a wide out. He's got 3,000 yards. But Banks Bowen accounts for 6,000 yards, 4,000 with his arm and 2,000 with his legs. So if you're single-handedly going to go by that,
I wouldn't be going by just yards because touchdowns.
Well, you're the one that asked the question.
No, right. No. What I asked was who's got the best stats alone, but you're just giving me yards.
What do you mean by stats?
It's not necessarily. I don't know that you can compare. You're comparing.
Well, you're talking about different quarterbacks or different positions.
Different positions.
Yeah. So you got a quarterback, a wide out, a quarterback, wide out, running back, quarterback, and Tate Nagy is a quarterback.
Which is probably why stats alone is not the metric that the Simone Award is given on.
Because Jackson Hicks, 27 yards, you could probably guarantee were way harder to gain than as a running back. Those aren't easy yards.
No.
You know what I mean? You're running, you got to figure there's 7 guys you got to account for.
Yeah.
At least. So that you have to take that into consideration as well. So here, let's us vote. Me and you. If we got to vote right now.
I've already got my pick.
Who is it?
I mean, but this is a football award, so it's tough for me to say this because what I'm saying right now is Rocco Marriott with his overall athleticism and how he plays multiple sports, and not only plays multiple sports but excels in multiple sports. To me, it's hard to say he's not the guy.
I pull for Rocco Marriott, and I hope they win state. Because if I'm going to get beat, I want to get beat by the state champions.
100%.
That's right.
100%.
If I'm going to get beat, I want to get beat by the state championship. Yep. So I've been pulling for him against Webb City, pulled for him against it was it was St. Louis Country Day.
Right.
St. Louis Country. I pulled for him against them. I'm going to pull for him against Elias. So I hope the kid wins the state championship. I want him or Isaiah to win. I wouldn't be mad if either one of them won.
Yeah.
And
Isaiah was going to be my second one.
I pull for Isaiah solely because I'm going to respect any 18-year-old kid who is bold enough to
proclaim his faith.
Because I wouldn't have been able to do it.
No.
I wouldn't have been able to do it. So I am really, really impressed with that. So I'm pulling either one of those two win.
We're right there.
I'd say for me, I'm flip a coin. I'm going to flip a coin between them two.
Yeah.
I mean, let's look at his yardage, too. I mean, that's a lot. God darn, 3,000 yards receiving, 600 yards rushing.
That's
God darn.
yeah.
You know, and he's going, where does it say where he's going? Nebraska. Yeah, I like that kid. I like him. But yeah, like I said, what about you? If you got to pick who you want to win.
It's not a fair question.
That is not a fair question. That is a loaded question.
It's a loaded question.
He can't answer that question.
Well, because you already know who won.
Yes.
Well, but also you can't ask that question.
Why not? He can have an opinion on the matter. It's his name.
After the winner is chosen, I think it's fair for him to verbalize his opinion.
Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm giving this award, and what if my limited knowledge or expertise in this picking, if I picked somebody and they didn't win it?
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's not fair to the kid.
Right.
You know.
And this airs before.
Or any of it. You know, it's not fair to all of them. So
I'm going. I stick
I'm
with
neutral.
Yeah,
You're neutral.
I like it. I think neutral is a good way to go.
Well,
I'm letting the coaches pick it.
So
They know more than me.
so let me ask you this: so you'll take every coach, I'm assuming, that played against every single player, right?
Well, yes, but you know, not every coach naturally, because they only play 10 games. And you can't play. Everybody can't play everybody. You know.
Right. No, I understand that.
Right.
So what?
But the coaches talk. They talk about kids great kids that,
Right.
you know. So I mean.
So is it so all the big class coaches are the ones that are going to vote on this, basically,
Yes.
in Kansas and Missouri? Yeah. So
this is not chosen. The criteria after you give the top 10, it's in the coach's hands for final voting. Is that correct?
I bet they all come up with the top 10 and then they say, okay, here's our top 10. Now vote again.
Yeah. That's what we do.
So that's how they do it.
Were you in here when he was?
I had to step out and take a call.
Let's revisit that just briefly. You said that you send out an email to
all the
coaches, 80 to 90 coaches, and then they send back their responses and their selection, and then you guys organize a top.
We put it together. What is the top 10 from the amount of votes that?
And then you have to probably resend it back out.
We re-vote. It's voted again only on the kids that we're putting back out.
And then you come up with your finalists.
Yes.
And this year you add a fifth. Typically you have 4.
Normally it's 4, but this year we added 1 because they were so close.
Yeah.
I mean, stats wise, and what people thought of them.
Yeah,
you know.
and yardage really clearly doesn't matter.
No,
it does, because I remember Johnny Joe Rayburn when he was up for it. I mean, I think he might have had 7,000 yards altogether between his legs and his arm. You know, and Ronnie Bell beat him, but here he went to Michigan, and then he's in the NFL right now.
Half a vote.
Huh?
He lost by half a vote.
That's all he lost by?
How many Simone Award winners have played in the NFL?
Oh, God, you got Sproles. You got the Bell kid that we were talking about. You got...
What? For what?
How many of Simone Award winners have played in the NFL?
Tim Ryan, Kenyon Rashid.
Sproles.
Drew Lock. Skylar Thompson. Ronnie Bell. I'm probably missing a couple.
Yeah.
That's...
We've had some Bobby Bell players
play in the NFL.
Elijah Lee played in the NFL.
He was a Blue Springs guy that graduated with Dalvin.
He played right. He
yeah,
played with Dalvin.
I think he plays for Detroit.
Same thing, huh?
I think he plays for Detroit. Am I wrong?
I don't know the answer to that.
He actually came to Pius.
Cincinnati? Did he play for Cincinnati or?
He came to Pius.
San Francisco.
Okay, he's here. He's in Cleveland. He's got a Browns jersey on. Why did I think it was Detroit for a little bit? It's going to drive me nuts. Cleveland Browns, Minnesota Vikings, San Francisco 49ers. Yeah, I'm way off. I don't know why I thought Detroit. But I do remember him coming to Pius and,
He talked to the boys, didn't he?
talked to the boys a couple times, came to a couple practices. And, yeah, him and Dalvin, I know, are really close because he was in that same class.
They lived together.
Yeah.
They used to.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are we doing on time? Wanna make sure.
We have 1 hour, so we're all right.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
good.
45 minutes in. We're good. We're
Okay,
good. Why? What do you got for me?
No, nothing. I want to make sure that our
We're
our
in good
cameras
shape.
don't shut
I
off.
want. So you're talking about 4 guys, and let's talk. The first winner was Jeff Kelso, and he was a stud baseball player and football player,
Yes,
right?
right.
He was a very.
He played pro ball. He was minor leagues with the Angels, I think.
Yeah, super nice guy.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I missed that
Good pizza.
Kelso's. Great food.
Great, I'll tell you, great pizza, man.
Great pizza,
Yeah.
great sandwiches.
Yeah.
All of it was unbelievable. So this award, we're on our 41st year. And let me ask you something, Anthony. How are most of these kids, are they recruited prior to winning this award? Or is
Yes.
they already
Yeah,
have
yeah,
commitments
yeah.
and let
They're recruited. Some of them maybe sophomore year in high school, and then naturally, I think junior year they start getting their letters and getting their.
So most of these kids are already signed, sealed,
Yeah.
and delivered by the time
Yeah.
they.
The only one, I mean, not the only one, but the one that really makes a difference is Ronnie Bell.
Because he didn't sign with Michigan until after he won.
He was gonna play basketball at UCM, I think. And when he won our award, he got contacted.
Yeah,
Harbaugh contacted him.
yeah. So this has that much here to be able.
Yeah.
So think about
It's got some reach. It's got some reach.
Yeah, think about that.
Yeah.
Think about that. He wins the award and then gets contacted by Michigan and now is in the league. It's got some major reach.
Here, I'm enjoying the shit out of this podcast right now because this is all. I had no idea that it was this deep. Obviously, I've known about the award, but the history behind it's impressive.
Here, I remember Dad talking about it because Dad used to, until he died would go to the.
Oh yeah.
Well, he was there every year. Well,
Yeah.
naturally because he was with me.
Yeah. Yeah, he was there every single year, and I remember him getting dressed up and doing all that to go to the award. And
Yeah.
It was a big deal, but when you're young, you don't pay attention to any of that.
You have no idea the gravity of what's going on.
No, you haven't. It's a shame, but I didn't, and that's why I want to bring Frankie George.
Heck yeah.
And have him see that. So, does this type of thing, does it ease the burden of the previous tragedy? Do you feel like, yeah,
No. And there's a part, when we announced the winner, we play the Rocky theme, and Rocky was Tom's best. That was his idol.
he kind of raised me, at least partially.
Yeah.
We play the Rocky theme, and we do everything in that regard, and then we have a video, which you're going to see this video, and I might say you might cry.
Yeah.
And it's really tough. It's really tough. It's a video that talk about Tommy, but what they did, Metro Sports came and interviewed myself, Edie, Savina, Kelso, Jeff Niemeyer, and they were showing about what happened at the time, and it was a whole deal. And it's about a 5-minute deal. We played at the ceremony. It's tough,
Yeah.
real tough.
Yeah. And anymore, I'm the biggest. I could cry over anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm terrible.
With that in mind, Tommy's loss has touched so many lives.
Oh, I mean,
and I'm sure early on, and maybe still, you may have asked yourself the question of, why God? And
Well, sure you do. I mean, I think it's human. When you have a loss like that, I think it's a question. I mean,
well, here you had.
Why not me?
Well,
why take a young kid?
Well, and you'll go through the part where you'll blame God, and then you'll be mad at him for allowing it to happen. And I got to be honest, I've seen people who've lost kids and who have never been able to reconcile with God.
No.
And it's hard to.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard to. And it's hard to trust him, after you lose a child.
Yeah, but that's where faith comes in.
Yeah, I'll tell you something, and I've said it on this podcast before, but there's this classic misconception, and it was a lie that bound me up for 22 years, because you ask yourself why God took. How many people say God took. And I remember after Nina had passed, the pastor at the church we go to, because I was just talking to him and I was venting, and I could have a conversation with him like I have one with you, and I was just like, how the fuck does God take 2 kids? How does this happen? And he said God didn't take any of them. He said God received them. He said God didn't take them.
Yeah.
And that kind of lifted that chain off of me. And I think that lie attacks all parents who've lost a kid. God took my son, God took this, God, and that was, we live in a fallen world where this type of shit happens.
Yeah.
It could be cancer, it could be mental illness,
right.
drug abuse, different accidents. I mean, murders. Here in the Italian community, there isn't anyone that we don't know that hasn't died from all that stuff.
Yeah.
So just in the little Italian community, so how, widespread it is.
Yeah.
And here, especially drug addiction and mental illness, you deal with it in your line of work as a fireman. The aftermath of that shit, you deal with it all day long. You see the worst of the worst. And it's just the world that we live in. But I see what you're saying when you make the comment, no, it doesn't ease it. Nothing really can.
No. Of course but I mean, how you heal, it's like you got a big cut. Say if you cut your arm bad, and naturally bleeds, well, your heart's bleeding, and then it forms a scab. It's still sore to touch, hurts. If you damage it too much, it bleeds again. It keeps then eventually scab falls off, and you have a scar. And then the scar's tender for a while, and then eventually you don't realize the scar.
Right.
Yeah.
And you live with the scar. Well, that's how you heal. At least that's how I felt like I've healed. And that's how that's how it was explained to me years ago. We went to counseling and everything. Everybody heals differently though.
Yeah. Well, and
emotional
the hardest
healing
And at
is
different paces.
And the hardest part is the fact that a male in no way, shape, or form can feel the pain that the wife does.
No.
And and one of the best pieces of advice that I got was, I don't care how much you're hurting, you cannot feel what she's feeling. And as a father, you know it hurts. It's horrible.
You know,
But you cannot, and that's very, and so you have to somehow take care of yourself, you know, so that you can also take care of your wife and kids, you know, and it's very difficult to do, because you get yourself to a point, at least for me, where I was like, okay, let me just make sure that they're okay. Once I make sure they're okay, then I'll sit there and try to worry about me and figure out, reconcile this in my own head.
I will say this. I see what you're saying, and I see the premise of why you're saying it, but I don't think that it shouldn't diminish the amount of pain that you know a father would feel in losing his child. I wouldn't say one is worse than the other. They're just very different.
Drew, a man is never going to know what it feels like to establish that bond in utero. It is impossible. There's no way you could talk your way around it. You're never going to be able to do it.
That child was living in them, inside of them.
We cannot establish the words of that bond. There's no way words can describe that. You cannot do it. You cannot do it. And I don't, you know, if a male is listening to this who's lost a child, I mean, I'm with you. I wear those shoes too. And I'm saying, like, I wouldn't make this comment had I not been in the situation, you know, 2 different times. But you cannot, in no way, shape, or form, fathom that pain, I don't think. As much as it hurts the dad as well.
No.
You can't. You can't do it. And that's why it can make it so incredibly, it's such a strain on the marriage.
Yeah.
Well, 90% of people that lose children end in divorce.
Well, and me and Michelle knew that. And we went into this saying 2 things. One was, we're taking care of each other. And we're going to make sure that this bond isn't, because if that bond's broken, it'll affect your kids. So number one, we're gonna make sure that bond isn't touched, and we are not gonna have our kid's story be, we lost our sister and our parents went with her. That was our biggest thing. And thank God, and I'll say this over and over again, we made conscious efforts that we were going to pour into our faith. And by that grace, we've come out stronger, Michelle and I, for sure. You know, I would say that our relationship has definitely came out stronger through that loss, you know. And we did the same thing you did. It probably wasn't. Now, Andrew Ross Germany Foundation took longer because my stages of grief lasted long. I was younger, right?
Yeah.
I was much younger when Andrew Ross died. And so I went through the series of pissed off at God, lasted way longer. Alcohol, drugs, self-medicating, all that stuff. You know, it wasn't until...
And I think people that don't know the whole story, you weren't married.
No, I wasn't married at the time.
And you weren't in a relationship.
No.
So
and I didn't have any other kids. He was my first.
There was no...
it was just
wife,
me.
It
was just me.
Pour into. You know?
Yeah, and so I didn't have any spiritual discernment, and then it wasn't until Michelle, Ross Joseph, Nina, Gianna, where I started to, how do I want to say it? heal my relationship or even try to heal my relationship with God. You know what I mean? And actually be able to see it through clearer lenses.
It's crazy how the family brings you closer to God.
Well, because what happens is, for me, what happened was I was worried about my wife, worried about providing for her, worried about, the two older ones. And you realize, holy crap, I don't have control over anything.
Control's really an illusion,
it's
right?
a figment of your imagination. And so then what do you do?
You still don't.
Yeah, no, you don't. You have no control.
Yeah.
And then at that point is when I decided, hey, now it's time to surrender. And then once I surrendered, that's when I was able to start hear what he was saying to me.
That's
right. He had been talking to me the whole entire time. I just wasn't able to hear it. I wasn't postured to be able to hear it. And at that point when I was postured to be able to hear it, and that's why with Nina, my knee-jerk reaction was, I'm pissed, but that only lasted a couple days.
You knew the ego would get in the way if you didn't surrender.
And so when we lost her, that whole process moved much faster.
And it allows you to be there for Michelle.
Well, and the other thing is now I'm in protect mode.
Yeah.
Right. Which I'm sure you understand. And I think I want everyone to understand, the reason why, we're talking about this portion is these kids and winners need to understand
the gravity of what they're winning.
They need to understand the gravity of what they're winning.
They're 18. It's hard for them to understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now Mosey might.
You're right. He very well could. He's clearly.
I can't say that. That they're wrong for not understanding what this means.
No, they're not. I didn't at 18 years old. I just told you.
Them to.
No, when I was going through it, Dad said, I'm going to the Simone Award. Okay.
I certainly hope that this podcast finds their way into the athletes so that they do know and have a different understanding of the gravity. And I think that what we've done here is break down that.
That was my goal in doing this was peeling back the layers of Tommy Simone and peeling back the layers of what this meant, which is why it was so important for you to get on here to see how it's affected you. That loss and the person standing there, that award means so much.
Absolutely.
It means so much, which is why the integrity of the athlete is also taken into consideration. Yeah. So it's not, it's a football award, but if you got a kid that is an outstanding football player, but he's causing trouble in school, he's not going to get up for it.
Actually, this is a life story, and I know we're getting ready to go, but
no, we got time. We have an hour.
I'm going to tell you an example where we're just a little bit of what we're talking about. When he won the award in, let's see, Kevin McIntosh. He was from
I'm listening
Hickman
to you.
Mills. Okay, he won the award in 1990, and then he ended up playing 4 years at Missouri. And then when he graduated in Missouri, he got on at Missouri Southern, or what's a Canadian company that just bought the railroad company here in Kansas City, whatever that. Anyway, he's been for years since he graduated working for the company. So he went from winning the award, MU, working for this company. But prior to that, he come and told me, he said if it wasn't for winning the award, he wouldn't be where he's at today, simply because the crowd he was with at that time and what the award has done is pushed him in a direction,
Changed his trajectory.
and it changed, and we are really, we're like family with him. We're a great guy. And every year he always tells me what the award meant to him and his family now. I mean, he'll say it.
It's a big deal, and this is I know is a bittersweet ceremony for you. I know when we do the poker tournaments and we do the fundraisers and Andrew Ross's and Nina's names, it's a time where you're forced to talk about it, right? And for me, that's very productive for Michelle. She likes to talk about it. She likes to talk about them. I do it, but I do it when I have to do it. She likes to do it. She likes to go to the cemetery. She likes to go visit them. Those aren't things that I really like to do. So I know how bittersweet it is to do these things. And I think it's good for these kids to hear the entire, because how many of them, like, you give them a 5-minute synopsis of what happened, right? At the award. Or no, you give them a 5-minute synopsis of Tom Tom.
Yes.
Right? And they may know, he was struck by a car. They may know that. Yeah. Some of them may just think, well, he's deceased and he died young, and don't really know what happened and how tragically he was taken away, and how that affected your family. And I think this can help clear that up.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think this can help clear that up.
I think it's going to just educate people, and not that the athletes who have received it in the past don't appreciate the award, and obviously
I think they appreciate it even more as they get older.
Yeah,
they do.
I think they appreciate it even more as they get older.
Jeff Kelso will tell you the same thing too. And both, I mean, almost all of them have said that.
Yeah. They don't realize it when they're 18.
Yeah.
So, and it's the beauty of youth and the curse of it at the same time. Because how many people make the comment, man, what I'd give to go back and know what I know now. I mean, is there anyone in this room that wouldn't love to do
every human alive?
Yeah. Every single human alive would give anything to be able to go back and have the knowledge that they have now. Is there anything that you would like to say to the audience about, or any advice you would like to give the candidates for this award?
Oh, wow.
If you had them in front of you right here, right now.
I think I would just tell them, the words that the mantra, so to speak, love, friendship, courage, champions. If you can incorporate that in your lives, you'll be successful, and in everything you do.
Here, it's funny you say that, because Coach Phil for the Necco Raiders said, hey, I want you to come talk to the team about love, friendship, courage, champions. I'm like, yeah, I could do that in my sleep. And if you look at the Necco Raiders, love, friendship, courage, champion. And if you look at St. Pius, love, faith, family, champion. You have two very successful organizations whose mantra start and end with love and champion. And that is not a coincidence. So to your point, if these kids really dive deep into the meaning of those 4 words and apply it to their everyday life, you're right. They will be successful in anything they do. I think that's a very good thing.
Let me tell you where those words came from. there was a guy named Warren Roberson.
Oh, I remember Warren Roberson.
Warren went
Yeah.
to Pius.
So Warren,
He was 3 years ahead of me.
I remember the night, because I remember my dad went to every game of mine. Obviously, you know that. And you probably went to 90% of them. And I remember getting done with my game and going up to the end zone, and I'm looking for my dad. And my mom came up to me and said, Dad and Anthony left. They went to the hospital. Warren Roberson's really sick. So this was in the fall. He had to die in like October.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Go on, though.
Yeah. So anyway, he was a senior. I was a freshman, and I played foot. Now he played football. He was a really good football player, and so I'm on freshman team. But he took a liking to me. Why, I don't know. I mean, 14-year-old fat kid, you know. But anyway, we really became good friends. And then he graduated naturally and went on. So we met up later. He had a son. He has a son,
Kyle.
Right. Tommy's age. Now they were in St. Treese Parish. We were in St. Pat's Parish. And I coached Tommy. He coached his son. And we always played against each other. And when he saw how Tommy carried himself, on the field, off the field, whatever, throughout the years. This went from, 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade, 5th grade. But anyway, he's the one that gave us those words. This is how I see how Tommy lived his life. Warren did it.
Wow.
Warren was also my son Anthony. That's his godfather.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So it's just spread that way. I mean, Warren was that kind of guy.
That's
and he saw in a 9, 10, 11-year-old kid
love, friendship, courage, champion. Yeah. So I think we should elaborate on those words, right? Because I remember I had to give a talk on grit, and courage was one of the components of it. And if you dive down into courage, you cannot have courage without the presence of fear.
No, courage is fear management.
And so you could ask a group of people how many people want to be considered courageous. They're probably all going to raise their hand. And ask that same group of people, how many of you guys want to be afraid?
Yeah.
And they probably won't. So the classic misconception of courage is fear has to be present in order for courage to be present. It's impossible to do it any other way. And then when you talk about love and why love is first, you can go in biblically, and Isaiah is probably going to wrap his head around this, but I have this on my phone. That's why I'm pulling this up. And here you go. So we'll define it biblically, what love is. And it's in 1 Corinthians. And you may not remember this, Drew, but it was read at Dad's services. And it says, love's patient, love's kind. It doesn't envy, it doesn't boast, it's not proud. It doesn't dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, it rejoices in truth, it protects, always trusts, always hopes, always preserves. It never fails. It says, of faith, hope, and love, the greatest of these is love. So it's not a coincidence that, and Warren probably wasn't thinking about that, but Love's the first one mentioned. Because at the end of the day, can you have the other stuff if you don't have love first? No, you can't.
No.
Yeah. No.
You can't. You can't have friendship without love. You can't have courage, and you can't be a champion.
Yeah.
And here, when you talk about a champion, this concept came from a guy, I think his name was Chris Stewart. I can't remember the book. Anthony gave it to me, but he distinguished between being a champion and winning a championship. Because there's plenty of people who won
Two different things.
Two different things. Plenty of people won championships that don't conduct themselves like champions. And there's plenty of people who conduct.
You see that now. You see it all the time.
And professional athletes.
You see it all the time.
And then there's plenty of people who never won a championship that conduct themselves like champions every single day. So, being a champion is, hey, I'm getting to class early. I'm sitting in the front. I'm, getting to weights early. I'm staying late, watching extra film. And you could apply it to any portion of your life that you want. But
it's doing the little things over and over and over again.
And having the discipline
and
to do the shit you don't like to do well.
Yes. You have to be able to face
because
your own personal fears and self-doubt.
You could take
and move forward.
Motivation and wipe your ass with it.
Yeah.
Right? Because doing something when you're motivated, anyone can do that.
Right.
Anyone could do something when they're motivated. You could throw motivation out. It's discipline that's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Because discipline's going to make you do that when you're not motivated. Just because it needs to be done. So, how many of these kids, and I guarantee all these kids that are on this list can relate to this. They go train when they don't want to train.
I mean,
they go drill their technique when they don't want to go drill. They go do all that stuff when they
do. That's why they are where they are.
That's why they are where they are. That's why they are where they are. So they have the discipline to stay on that path because there's other 17, 18-year-old kids that are saying, "Come on, let's go do this, let's go do that." And they have the wherewithal to keep their eyes on the goal that they want and stay that course. So that's why they excel at what they do.
I'm excited to go to the award and see. I mean, I'm pumped.
When do you guys release the day or the location of it? Got to do it the day of.
Monday. Or Tuesday morning.
And so what do? Just call whoever's the winner. You call that school and say, "Hey, we're coming."
Yep.
And they got to drop everything they're doing that day.
We've already contacted the 4, saying it's a possibility.
5.
Well, 5. That's right. 5. It's a possibility we're going to be there for the ceremony, and
it's like get the locker room ready with the champagne and shirts printed, and then we'll see how this shakes out.
And then let's say so the people who don't win, they'll get the call saying, "Hey, we got to go to this school,"
right? And
then they show up, and so they're ready to rock and roll.
Now, those like the 4 that they're going somewhere else when they know they didn't win. Right.
And obviously the kid who knows that they're coming, they know who won based on where it's at before you have to tell them. So that's got to be exciting.
Yeah.
That's got to be exciting for these kids. That's a neat deal.
Yes, it is.
I'm glad. I'm gonna demand that both you come Tuesday.
Yeah.
I'll be
Absolutely.
there. I'm going to be there with Frankie George, and then Gemma's like, "Well, I want to go." I'm like, "Sis, come
Bring
on."
her. It's for girls too.
No, I know, and
because it's what the award represents.
It's not about football.
It's right. It's about life.
And Gemma and Gianna,
they're athletes.
They're definitely athletes, and they definitely need to apply these principles to their life.
Exactly. The girls, They have to do. They go through the same thing.
Well, here, let's
Same-
look. Let's look at Roe. Roe was in the Hall of Fame for basketball. And didn't she win a state championship in basketball?
No, they came in third.
Okay. So they
There's a
almost.
story about that one too, why they didn't, but I won't get into it.
And Sav was a good softball player, if I remember.
Yeah, she played at Jewel. She
Yeah.
played softball at Jewel.
Yeah.
She was all conference, everything in softball.
So it's clear of all your 4 kids that will probably all go into the. Well, Roe and Bear are already in, right?
Yeah.
So Charlie, we know Charlie's
in.
going in.
Getting in.
You know, so they clearly have taken these principles and applied it to their own lives, right?
So we can't give out the location, but we haven't. What time does award ceremony actually take place?
It's 9 a.m., isn't it?
Takes
9:30.
At
place 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna keep Frankie out of school. What's it
Yeah.
last? About an hour?
Yes.
About an hour?
Yeah.
And then
he could be back for lunch.
I told him he don't have to go back. He could skip that day. We're gonna play hooky that day.
I'm coming straight from the station
Yeah.
because I
this-
work and then I just hang out and I won't even go home. Be ready to go.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, I'm definitely fired up. Once again, you're pulling from here. Well, I can't bet you
No,
because we're here. If Mosey wins, though,
we could do a lunch.
if Mosey wins, you owe me lunch.
Okay.
Is it Mosey? Am I saying this kid's name right?
Mosey.
Mozee.
Yeah.
Isaiah Mo.
All right,
If-
and I'm taking Rocco.
Yeah, but I'm not upset if either one of them win.
No, I won't be upset if anything.
I'm excited for all of them.
Excited for all of them.
I'm excited for all
We
of them.
just got a lunch bet.
I just have a little bit of partial because Rocco, you know, we played against him and the, you know, Isaiah just because of the, you know, faith reasons.
It's gonna be barbecue or it's gonna be a tenderloin for me. Just something simple. For
I don't know. I had lunch the other day down Capitol Grill, and I think I'm gonna probably hit you for that.
Okay. All right.
I'm probably gonna hit you for that. Anthony, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
We're
Thanks
gonna
for
get
having me.
this. We'll get this put out today, and they got video and pictures of these kids. Here, some of them you got to put more video of yourself up there. I could.
Yeah.
You know,
Threw it on TV.
throw it on the TV for them. So anyway, I wonder how I can get this video. I know I can get it into Marriott's hands easy because of Trevin Reed, but I'd like to be able to get this into the hands of all the nominees. I wonder how we could do that.
What
Yeah.
the
Nagy, Jackson,
Yeah.
Marriott,
a link to
where they
for
can,
this,
yeah, so they can
yeah.
listen to it.
well, we could tell them. We'll give me you know.
I'll send you the link today.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I'll tell them. I'll tell all the parents. 'Cause I'll meet them all.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think this could shed some light on it for them. And congratulations to all of you. I wish all of you guys nothing but success in your future, except Marriott. I hope if we play you in the district championship again, we win. All right. Thank you very much.
Thanks.